Hello, folks. Welcome to another edition of Social Media News Live. I'm so excited that you are here with me today. We got some of my favorite people in the world and Connor Brown. No, just teasing. Connor is one of my favorite persons in the world as well. We're going to have fun today because Doc's already chatting in the he's already ahead of the game. Look at him. Ahead of everything. So we're going to have a lot of fun today. Ask your questions. If you feel stuck, if you are like struggling with processes, ways to get content out, all those questions that sometimes you feel alone in asking, like you don't have, like your neighbor probably doesn't know what you do. My wife doesn't even know what I do, and I've been married for 30 years. So anyway, this is a time where you can ask the questions that you are burning to ask here on the show today. Doc and Marielou, how are you guys doing today?
Oh, fantastic.
Marielou?
I'm doing great. I feel great. Feeling really excited to be here. Thanks for having us. I know it's early, extra early for Doc.
Oh gosh, what time is it there, Doc?
6 even now, but I'm up at like 4:30 to get ready. All right.
Yeah,
gotta do my hair and stuff.
We got the amazing Dustin Stout waving hi to us. Our friend Paul Gowder saying good morning, and the crazy wild man Chris Stone is saying, "Hey, party people." That's right. It is a party today. Connor Brown, how are you doing, my friend? How is everything in the great state of Florida?
It's great. It's going. We haven't had a quad on in a while. I'm excited. I love it. Get some crazy antics going with 4 people.
It's right.
It's the people going.
Yeah.
Dustin Stout says, it took me 15 years and 5 businesses, but my wife finally understands what I do to tell people enough. So that's great. So, all right, we've got Rich Graham going, Heidi ho, neighbors. Man, I haven't heard that in a long time. Heidi ho, good neighbor. That's right. We are going to go get started. I'm going to hit go on the we got a lot to talk about. So I'm just going to hit go on the podcast machine and we will get started. Connor, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Hello, folks. Welcome to Social Media News Live. I'm Jeff C., and you're not.
And I'm Connor Brown, and this is the show that keeps you up to date on what's happening in the world of social media and more.
You ever wonder what it really takes to stay consistent and keep creating even when motivation fades? Are you looking for practical ways to push past perfectionism and finally hit publish? Or maybe you're trying to build a workflow that actually helps you get things done instead of getting in your way. If so, you're in the right place today. We're sitting down with 2 creators who have mastered the art of taking action. Doc Rock and Marielou Mandl have built a show that not only helps others get unstuck, but also serves as a real-time example of how to create without overcomplicating the process. They're going to share their journey, their best strategies, and the systems they use to stay on track. So sit back, clear your schedule, clear your mind to get ready for this week's episode of Social Media News Live. Marielou and Doc, thank you so much for being here. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yay, thank you.
Always excited to come onto the show. Like this is, I think I've been on here maybe once, maybe twice. I don't know, but it's always a great time. It's always
going to be fun.
Time, and love to talk to the creators about doing this thing that we do.
And we're excited to have the both of you on. But if you don't know who Marielou and Doc are, you should. Marielou is a seasoned on-camera host, producer, and content creator with 15 plus years of experience. Her mission is to help creators make better videos. You can catch her on her YouTube channel where she talks about video production, gear, and good vibes. And Doc Rock is the director of strategic partnerships at Ecamm Network. With a 4-decade career spanning several industries, including TV, radio, film, and podcasting, he wants to make content creation accessible to all skill levels and shares practical strategies with his audience that they can apply personally and professionally. So welcome again, Marielou and Doc. I'm so excited for today's episode.
Let's dive in. Let's go.
So want to give a big shout out to our sponsors of the show, our friends at Ecamm. You can find out more about them at ecamm.com/Jeff. Use code Jeff15 to save 15% on your first purchase. We all love Ecamm here, as you can tell, and we'll be talking probably about that. We'll slip in the conversation a little bit today. But today is all about the Creators Playbook. And this first question, and I'm going to toss it out first to you, Marielou, is you both emphasize the importance of taking action over perfection. So why do you think, Marielou, so many creators get stuck in overthinking? And what's your kind of go-to advice for breaking through that?
Well, the only way to get better is to actually get better. is to actually do the thing. And when people start thinking too much about what everybody else is doing as opposed to just actually iterating, then that's where they run into trouble and they start to overthink it. That's where we come in, and we will yell the love right back into you and say, you have everything you need to do this already, and you'll just get better as you go. But looking at tutorials all day, looking up gear all day, it's not actually going to make you better. You might get more knowledge, but like until you actually execute, you're not going to improve and you will stay stuck. But we don't want that for you.
And by the way, their channel, and we're going to be talking about this channel all day today because this is what they focus on the show, on their podcast show and the channel. You can find out that at youtube.com/@Creators Unstuck, which is a great name. And how many videos you got there now, Doc?
Oh, I can't even count. I think probably like 12, but we've done 22, 23 episodes. Most of them, the live recordings exist on my channel, which we'll talk about in a minute as to why we do it this way. And then I go through the process and edit them and build the podcast on the backside. And we haven't really started full promoting yet until I dig out of the mini episodes we shoot.
Right.
But we don't want to break the shooting schedule, because that's part of people's problem, right? They were like, well, I'm going to break the shooting schedule. And it's like, no, keep shooting. I can release 15 episodes one day. It's okay.
Yeah. So but back to that question earlier that I asked Marielou. So what do you say, why so many creators get stuck in there overthinking it? And what is your advice? You know, Marielou gave hers, but what is your advice for helping people get out of that?
You know, the part of that comes from people have this weird thing that if they don't do it perfectly, someone's going to come for their achievements, right? So let's say you're Dr. Connor Brown and, you know, you go on the internet and you say something dumb, people are going to, you know, like affect you. You went to med school, fam. You got the doctor's degree. Nothing anybody can say in the comment can take that away. The only person that can take that away would be Harvard. But they're not watching. So like, you're kind of sort of tripping. Just like, let it go. No one's coming for you. Matter of fact, people would normally support you if you showed more vulnerability, because then you don't look fake.
It's a great day. Doc thinks I could have graduated from Harvard Medical School. I'm happy with what we've made, the progress we've made today.
Right.
Doc, you talk about this phrase, block it, lock it, rock it. Now I've seen you pop, lock, and drop it before, but this is a little different. Block it, lock it, rock it. Can you break us that down and that phrase and tell us, you know, how does that help creators get unstuck?
All right. So I used to think, you know, people always come with these weird little techniques and these sort of productivity hacks that are supposed to help you. And I used to really believe that calendar blocking was kind of like whatever. And then I started doing it. And I was like, you know what? Two things are important to know, Connor. When you dabble in whatever multi-level marketing thing that you're in, this other business that you tried, this fitness thing that you tried, and you kind of have it all the time, your family doesn't believe you. So therefore they'll bother you because they think that they're protecting you. But when you show them that you're dead serious about this, it will give you the opportunity to say, block out an hour. And if you're brand new and you're a little bit scared, I'll give you 15 minutes. Block a 15-minute block. Do nothing but work on your content in that time. When we say lock it, that means non-negotiable. Kids be like, Mom, I need a snack. Go away. You know, husband rolls in and be like, hey, can you go away? Like, nobody can bother this time. If you block this time, you lock this time, it is non-negotiable. The only thing that can take you out of that block is death. And then while you're there, you only do what you say you're going to do. That means no Instagramming, no texting Marielou stupid memes. Just do what you say you fixing to do. So block it, lock it, and rock it. And once you build that habit, it becomes easy. I am on day, I think like 120 of posting a video to YouTube every day to prove something that you said, Connor, to prove you that for 99% of the population, creator burnout is an absolute myth. But they heard somebody else say it and they believe it and now they follow it. But you can't be burned out if you ain't published nothing, fam.
Wow. A little tough love from Doc right there. One of the things that I use, Doc, is a tool that I use. It's called Focus To Do and has my to-do list that goes into my, like a timer. And I use that Pomodoro, I think that's how you say it, technique.
Yep.
And that has saved my bacon numerous times because I'm able to use that. And yeah, little timer. That's awesome. Yep. Look at everybody. Look at, and I like Marilou's got the
$9 on Amazon, and then you could tell the people in your family when you hear this beep, you can talk.
That's right. That's right. Well, Marielou, you have a saying too, and you remind, it's even in your bio, it says you remind people to wipe their lens, both literally and figuratively. Can you share why this, this simple kind of mindset shift can make a huge difference for creators?
Well, on the very practical side is a lot of people who I talk to film on their phones, and they're like, I need a new camera. I need a new camera. I'm like, well, just wipe your lens. You're probably fine. Maybe you just need to wipe your lens because people hold their phones and their fingers get on the lenses more so than like a regular camera. But then wiping the lens, you can clear the gunk off of your mindset because maybe you were looking at too much other mess and now things are gross, but you can wipe the lens, you can start over and just create from what you want to create. And yeah, it's such a thing to it blows people's minds, just the physical wiping of the lens on the phone, because the amount of blurry videos I see of people filming on their phones makes me crazy. I'm like, let's start there. Let's just start there.
And what they forget, they'll wipe the thing on the back, but they won't wipe that front camera, where that's where all the gunk gets. And then it's even worse. It's like going through Vaseline or something like they used to do for the soft focus. Yeah.
A lot of our
it's not
audience,
intentional.
No, it's not at all. It is very gross though. But a lot of our audience, they're small business owners, they're marketers, and then they're content creators on the side, right? Maybe they're content creators to help promote their small business or their marketing efforts or what they're doing. Or maybe they're content creators about something totally different and they want it to become their full-time thing. But what they're faced with is this juggling act of what they have to do in their small business or their clients that they're helping and what they want to do with creating content. How do you shift your mind, this mindset shift to, make it a priority to consistently and effectively produce content while also balancing all the other stuff you have going on in your life? Doc, I'll start with you, and then Marielou, you can follow up.
Okay, so this one is going to drive everyone crazy because I am here to pop holes in all of the weird stuff that people say that they don't realize just uttering these words alone already makes you 80% likely to follow what you say. For the most part, this is just a known scientific fact. The things that you say, you will actually do. So you become what the whole thing about self-fulfilling prophecy comes from this. So why must people say things, well, oh, you have to get a good work-life balance? There's no such thing, bro. There's life.
Right.
And what you stick in that life and how you do it and how you align them, that's just balance. It's not about work and life. It's just life. You have one life. Part of your life is work. Part of your life is family. Part of your life is creating. Part of my life is, watching sports or whatever. That's just what it is. So the reality of it is when you get rid of that idea that you have to somehow balance two things that seem to be counterpositioning when they're not. If you're doing content to move your business along, then this is work. You know what I'm saying? If you're doing content to have fun and not necessarily move your business along, then this is part of your mental stability, which is doing something that you love and you're having fun, you have a purpose, and you're sort of moving towards. So I think the first thing people have to do is get rid of this concept that it is some kind of fight. And the other thing is simplify. You guys are coming out trying to drive F1. You don't even have a learner's permit yet. Like you watch, and I've been doing this since I was maybe 8. I'm nowhere near that right now. And so you see my studio or you see me speaking at some events or doing something, you're like, oh, I'm going to do all of those. Like stick, like Marielou said, bust out your phone, lock yourself in the bathroom, say whatever salient points you got to save the world and upload it. Like, don't try to get cute out of the gate. You ain't ready for that.
What about you, Marielou?
Well, balancing the life and the work or life and content, they feel like it's too much. Is like, well, maybe you're not aligned and maybe you're doing something you don't want to be doing. I feel this a lot of time when people are like, oh, content is so hard. And I'm like, well, do you have to be doing it? Like, you say you want to do it, but like, do you? Or do you feel like you should? Now there's like the one side where people are running a business and it's moving their business along. Then they need to change their mindset to like, this is a tool. Like, you got to put the ads out. You got to get people to know who you are. You got to go pass the flyers out. You got to go do that thing. But that's a business thing. But the people who are like, I want to be a creator, but I hate to be a creator, but I want to be a creator. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm losing empathy for that because maybe it's not for you if you don't want to do it. But if you want to put in the work and you want to find joy in the learning part, then amazing, right? But I think a lot of people are like, well, I want to be on the internet. I want to be a star. I was like, okay, but you still got to do all these other things. Unless you want to just go be a star, then go get yourself an agent, go get yourself a manager, but you're still going to need to know how to make content because that's part of the work now. That is part of the work. So that's this balance, like Doc says, is like there is no work-life balance. But I think when people are feeling some kind of way is because they're not aligned with what they're doing and why they're doing it. And if they should even be doing it.
Yeah.
Just like your car, if you're out of alignment, it's a bad ride.
Or if your back is out of alignment, which we're getting to the age where that happens a lot. So, one of the things that when you're talking about work-life balance, I was thinking about, I don't like that term either. For me, it's almost seasonal. Like when my kids were little, I wanted to stay home, wanted to go to their games. I did not take speaking gigs. My life and work changed for that. Well, now my kid's working for me. Abby's like my first full-time employee, and I have time to go out and do speaking stuff. So I think life is seasonal. So I think we get all focused about, like, we get really myopic and like, my life has to be this way compared to Doc. I want to be like Doc, where he can eat, these really this beef jerky from Wyatt. It's amazing. And that's all he does around. He sits around and plays video games and then goes live every once in a while. No, he's built this up over time, and it's seasonal for him as well. Life is full of seasons. So on that note, both of you have years of experience in different industries, like from TV to digital media. I know Mariellou's done a bunch of brand deals. So what are some of the biggest mindset differences between traditional media professionals and then now the way that today's content creators are living and doing business? Like Marielou, your gigs as a brand spokesperson for these brand deals, that didn't exist like maybe 10 years ago, but now it's kind of opened up to a lot of different people. So can you talk a little bit about that, the difference between now and what you're seeing with this new economy?
It's that difference of, in traditional media, it had always been you have your job and you do that job, and that's your job. So that's where a lot of people who are coming into content creation are thinking, well, I want to be talent. I want to be a spokesperson, but you have to do all these other things to make it happen, where in another time you could be booked for that one part of the bigger picture. But in the way things are now with online media, you need to be the business that is the whole production, which is where I think like I always have the edge, because when I was trying to be in traditional media, I couldn't pick a lane, and you could put me in one position and I'm asking everybody else what they're doing. Like, I just was like, I want to know what everybody's doing, because I want to understand if something happens, I can jump in somewhere else, is where my mindset was, even though like that wouldn't be the case on a real set. But that has been helpful to me, because the mindset of a creator being on the internet, a digital creator, influencer, UGC, a brand ambassador, is that you are flexible. You are able to do a bunch of different things. You are a creator in every sense of the word, in that you need to create the concept. You need to create the connections. You need to create the relationships. You need to create the visuals. You need to create the personality, right? You can't just show up and like, well, I'm personality and someone's going to direct me and tell me this is how to do it. Or you're not just going to come in and be like, somebody has the storyboard out. I mean, sometimes the brands have that, but if you're really, really going to get into this business, you need to be able to also do it yourself, so you can understand how to translate these things. But you don't have the whole crew. You are the crew, top to bottom. And then to be also able to collaborate, especially when you're starting to work with brand deals. And these are executives or business folks that don't necessarily understand creator world, but this is your industry and this is your wares. This is your expertise. But if you come off confident that you know how to do all these pieces, that's when people like to get their hands in the muck, because they're like, oh, this person doesn't know what they're doing. So they're like, okay, well then let me try. Then you have people who don't know what they're doing trying to direct you. So this is where you need to catch up. You need to learn how to do everything, and you need to put your collaborators at ease that you know what you're doing. Where in traditional media, you could come up, you do one role, and if you can't figure out that role, there's usually other people who are molding you because you're just a cog in the machine, as opposed to a machine that's being rented.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make
Oh
sense?
wow, yeah, that's a great point to know all those things, because that's what they expect. So you don't have people meddling in your deal. That's a really good point. Now, Chris Stone from Casthead says people want easy. Most aren't willing to put in the work necessary to be successful. So Doc, you've done a ton of different roles. I mean, you were like, I know you talk about being in the Apple store. You've been doing live video since it started. So what have you seen? You know, Marielou gave a great example of like, to be prepared, know all the roles. What have you seen from traditional media? Because I mean, you did DJ stuff, all sorts of things, to today's kind of creative economy. What are the biggest difference that you're seeing?
Well, okay, so let's preface this by saying Marielou is the dessert and I'm the medicine you have to take that you can't stand the taste of. So get ready. I'm here to tell you what you already know. You just don't like hearing it. One of the things is in traditional media, we have a saying basically in any set I've ever been on, you're going to get the shot. Like you must get the shot, regardless of what that takes, how that works. Sometimes the camera people or the sound guys are like hanging upside down in trees in weird, awkward positions, completely uncomfortable for 3 or 4 hours, but you're going to get the shot, right? When you see the finished product at the end, it's similar to what Steve Jobs would say, when the magic is undiscernible from reality, that's when you know you nailed it. So if you really look at the behind the scenes shot of any good epic picture, you'll see people in very weird places or getting hurt even sometimes trying to get the shot. But you don't know that because all you see is this lovely thing, and you see the Rock, like come through and give you the little elbow in the eye, and then you're like, oh my God, this movie is so good. So knowing that level of work is there, and going really close to what Chris Stone just said, people aren't necessarily willing to put in work. Everybody thinks this is easy because it does look easy on the surface. But understand, all these creators that you see are winning on the surface, there's a whole bunch of swan going down, right? Like it looks smooth on the water. Underneath, those feet are like 100 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to take this back to something. Karen's been doing karate for 10 years, right? She got her black belt in 8. In many of the schools in the US, you'll see these stories of people getting their black belt in 3 years. There's no way to really do that in real deal Holyfield, Okinawan karate. It's not Japanese, it comes from Okinawa. And a lot of people drop out or they change schools because her sensei does not give out belts like candy. You have to actually work for it. If you're going to be a sushi chef, the guy you see cutting the fish, he has a minimum of 15 years before he can ever put knife to fish. You're not allowed to. You have to go through the process and build yourself up. And I think one of the great things about content creators is anybody can do it. One of the bad things about content creating is anybody can do it because people feel like they can go straight to, like Yokozuna and sumo, and you still 80 pounds, fam. Like you really have to put in the time and build that up. So the mindset is understand this is not a race. It is a slog, and you have to literally put in the work. And sometimes the best thing you can do is record videos of yourself every single day. And no one says you have to upload them. But if you get in the habit of recording a video every day, you'll get better at it. If you get in the habit of taking those videos and edit them so that they sound like a sensible piece, you'll get better at it. And then when it comes time to do content, and I just showed this to my community, the videos that I post, I can do them in 20, 30 minutes because I can shoot it an 11-minute video and edit it in the other 11 minutes because I've been doing this since Jesus walked in Nazareth. You're not going to get that fast until you start putting in that level of expertise, or I'm sorry, the level of reps. It's really about reps. It's not even about expertise. It's about reps. And most of you guys that are multiple kidded, your second or third kid is way easier than the first. And why? Because of the reps.
That's right. Yeah.
That is true. For every overnight success, there's like 12 years of hard work, right?
100%.
Chapel Roan is a perfect example. Everyone thinks that, oh, she just popped up last year. All the songs that you know about her, Jeff Chapel Roan, she's like a she's
Shut
a
up, man.
singer. She wrote all those songs 7
She on
years
the
ago.
interwebs? Yeah.
Yeah, she wrote all those songs
Dang.
7 years ago, but now finally people are starting to notice those sorts of things. Both of you guys have teamed up to create Creators Unstuck, which again, love the name. It's awesome, and you guys are building it in public, legitimately in public. Actually, I remember when you guys were doing a photo shoot at Creator Camp back in October, so that's legitimately in public. But you've decided to build this thing in public and document the process live. What was the intention behind that, and how has it helped you guys, not only stay accountable or stick to it, but why do you think that's important to encourage creators to do the same? Marielou, you can go first.
Having the dedicated time to do something makes all the difference. We know the Doc has had his live stream. I don't know how long you've been doing that live stream at that time slot, but it's like every Tuesday, right? Every Tuesday this
Almost 5
happens.
years.
So it was right. So that schedule's already set. And I had been like coming to just like chit chat. And then once in a while, he's like, oh, if you're camera ready, come on. I was like, all right, cool. And then like we were talking. And as like our relationship has developed and we realize we have a lot of the same mindsets about things and the same like passion about certain topics, but our delivery is different. I was like, okay, it is pretty complimentary because sometimes people need to get yelled at and sometimes people need something sweet. And sometimes we do switch roles. It depends on what the topic is, right? Or we're both just yelling at you because to know what's going on. But because there was that set time, now we're on schedule. Now this is happening, right? And having an accountability partner, right? By doing something with somebody is really, really helpful. But as somebody who's done lots of creative projects over my lifetime, it is very hard to find somebody who is both willing to put in the time and is good at what they do, right? And also will lock in on a schedule. The schedule is the most important thing, and I think the reason we're 25 episodes in doing it live in front of everybody because of our topic, right? But I do think even if you weren't talking about content creation, if you were filming and producing your project, your podcast live in front of your audience, that's why people love live studio audiences. Like that's why when people come to Los Angeles, they're booking their tickets to sit in audiences for shows they don't even know. But they want to sit there. They want to see the soundstage. They want to see the people running around. They want to see the chaos beforehand. And then you go live and then everything's good. And they're like, wow, look at all of that. And it's part of the excitement. So then your community also is part of the production. And I think that is huge for what we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Doc, what about you?
I do want to say to Gary, first of all, don't feel bad that you're doing it by yourself. In a way, that's technically easier because you never have to worry about anybody else's schedule. Luckily for us, like Lou said, both of us are like diehard committed to this mission. So it's never a problem, for one of us. Like we're going to get this done, hook or crook. But again, one of the two things I think is hyper important, and Jeff, you know me from the speaking circuit. I've been speaking about this for a couple of years, and people are still afraid of it because they keep listening to other people tell them that it's okay to be afraid. It is not okay to be afraid. Well, okay, it is okay. Do it anyway. How about that?
Yeah.
That's the better answer. Okay, I can't take your fear away because most of that fear is somebody else putting you, and you just don't realize it. I have techniques. I would like to call myself fearless. I don't think that's really true. I just don't let the fear control me. Let's put it that way. Like I'm going to take action left, right, or indifferent. Okay. So for if you do your show live, now this is practical business, right? This isn't a mindset or hoo-hoo stuff. This is practical business. We do the show live, so we do the pre-taping live. We build out the show notes live so they can see it. Like we showed them how to build this Notion document, and this is how we do our process. We built the Chat GPT bot live. We built everything so you can sort of see how it was done from the inside. You have no excuses because we've given you the blueprint. It's not behind a paywall. It's not behind a course. This blueprint is free and it's been sitting there on my channel. You just got to start back in like June and just watch all of the thumbnails that look like me and Marielou. Then you got the whole school. I hide nothing. But then if you do it live, you talk about GEO and SEO. YouTube automatically transcribes everything that you say. And nowadays, when you go to search for information on any particular topic, the first couple of results are going to be AI pulled GEO, generative engine optimization, because now the results are AI pulled. So if you are a smeeze on Walt Disney and booking the ultimate trips for kids with special needs, and you do your podcast about this and you record it live, the amount of content that you're creating in the 2 hour recording the show is more valuable than the 5, 6, 7, 800 word blog post that you posted where it's all nice and perfect and everybody can see it. Because what do people search by? People search conversationally. They don't search was my teacher, I forgot her name already. Miss Blogdanowitz, that's the name. Oh my God, hardest name. She, like, when she taught us to write, we wrote the way, you're supposed to write if you're trying to be a Wall Street Journal person. But people don't search questions like that.
Right.
So in a way, all of that SEO is built because the spoken word is 100% searched by Google. So if nothing else, record it live, even if you have one person in your audience, because you're feeding the search engine.
Yeah. Yeah. So Gary even popped up. He goes, we couldn't get our new business index on first page, but our video sure did. Yeah. So that's really. And then
Gary's my dude. Hi, Gary.
Yeah, Gary's awesome. He is a big supporter of the show. I appreciate Gary Stockton. And Christian Infantry says, one-man show, mistakes equals mistakes, but more realistic. Doc called it. Overcome fear, and it's game on. To be honest, I get nervous every Friday. Every Friday I wake up and go, why am I doing this? This is the dumbest thing ever. And I tell my kids, whatever's hard, that's what takes you to the next level. Like, nothing's easy and it just like falls in your lap. You always have to push for it. But yeah,
dude, when you first heard that there was going to be an Abby coming, I bet you were nervous, but you wouldn't trade that for the world. No. I would be mad at you if you traded for her, because Abby's my friend. Like, I love
Abby's awesome. She's the best thing.
Kids.
She's the best thing that ever happened to this to me and to my business. But I wanted to go back, Doc, to what you said a little bit earlier in the show, and you talked about blocking time and the importance of that. A lot of people can block time. That's easy. But how do you structure that block time to make sure content is actually created, even when Katie from Ecamm calls you, or you've got this conference you're going to speak at? How do you structure that block time? Marielou, I'd love to hear yours first, and then we'll go back to Doc.
Because the way that we've been doing this, we're so far ahead that if something comes up, we're okay. Because we're that far ahead in the schedule, because every week that we strive to make it that Tuesday for that 1 to 2 hour block. We start with the quick hellos. What are we going to talk about? We have a list of topics, but usually we talk and there's like something that's been on one of our hearts that we feel really spicy about. So we're like, great, let's talk about that. It also is helpful because we have a rapport. And it's also really helpful because we look forward to talking to each other, right? We're like talking to each other all week, but then on Tuesday, like you say, you wake up on Fridays and you're a little nervous. Like, I wake up on Tuesdays. I was like, yes, let's go. Let me go hang out with Doc
bestie day.
And the fam. It is bestie day, right? And it's like bestie day for us. And then, but also with the community that comes to watch the live show. Like, it's just very exciting. Like, right. It's our club hangout day. So we start a couple minutes trying to figure out what's the I have the Notion on my side. We're typing, and we figure out the show bullet points. So we built the format early in the process. So we always know we need our hook, we need title options, we need bullet point options. We have our Chat GPT that has our transcripts and conversations loaded into it. It knows what we want to talk about. It knows our point of views. And that kind of becomes our jumping off point. So it doesn't give us the whole script, but we'll go in there and I'm like, give me 10 hook options, 10 bullet point options, 10 title options. And then we together go through it and we're like, this one's kind of good. This one, I don't love this, but there's a part of this that's really good, because we are still the human on side making the decisions. The chat GPT is an assistant. It is an assistant. It's the PA who I'm like, okay, go generate some ideas for me, come back. And then as the producers, we're like, this one, this one, this one. Great, let's go. Give it to talent. And the talent's like, got it. Great. And then we go. And then we press record. We have our conversation. We both are on the same map. All right, we're on the same roadmap for the show, because we both have the notion. We can see where each other is in the notion. If we need to make a note with each other, we can write something. And then we just go through the checklist. And then we have our section for sponsorships. And then we get out of there, right? One of my favorite segments is this Doc rapid fire questions that I think I just came up with on the fly, where I was like, oh, I'm going to, because Doc will he can answer questions, right? And it's so much fun to do. So I have a whole section on the Notion that's like a toggle list, and it's like, Doc, do not open. So it's on there and he can see it if he wanted to, but part of the fun is that I know he can access it, but he won't. But he wants to. But he won't do it.
It's like finding a present when you were a kid. You're like, I'm not going to open. Should I open it? Should I steal? Yeah, I get it.
And for all he knows, I could just have it there like, I caught you. It might not even have the notes in there.
You know what's funny? I have never looked at it. And even when we're off air, I still don't look in there, because I'm like, you know what? You don't want to break that habit, because then you start cheating. Right. And I'm like, I'm going to just leave it like that. And this is a social contract between me and my bestie. So I'm just not even going to look. And then the rapid fire questions are great, because it doesn't give you a chance to like flinch and overthink. But it's also proof to our audience, you can think on the fly, fam. You know what you're doing. I'm going to steal this from Marielou. Marielou has a saying, and I might say it wrong. If I say it wrong, Lou, fix it. Aren't you tired of pretending that you don't know what to do? Did I nail it, bestie?
That is it. Aren't you tired? Like, people, all of you, like, oh my gosh, aren't you tired of acting like you don't know what you're doing when you fully know you know what you're doing? You just want to feel like you don't know what you're doing so you don't have to do it. But you know what to do.
Yeah,
it's a procrastination hack. Yeah.
And procrastination is perfectionism in disguise. So the reason why you take your time doing it is because you're afraid that you're going to mess something up. So you're just trying to put it off until you think you feel comfortable with what you're about to do. The reality of it is, no matter how far you put it off, you're still going to make that mistake if you was going to make it, because that mistake is in you, but that's a mistake that you will learn to overcome. Now, to your question, Jeff, one of the things, and I'm gonna speak on this specifically for Eva. Oh, you scrolled past her. Now I can't see what she said. But Eva is stuck in the whiteboard. Okay, so here's the plan. Here's the block it, lock it, rocket plan for Eva. I'm gonna show you this using my Osmo Pocket 3, because this is what I got. I have a little magnet here on the bottom. I will magnet this to something or set my tripod up, whatever, and I will put the camera on my face and I will record 15 minutes of work. If you're going to block it for a half an hour, record a half an hour, set it up as a time lapse. Okay. At the end of that time that you work, when your bell goes off, you still haven't got any content created yet. Take that time lapse, take a pain point, a solution. Well, you set what the pain point is, you set the solution, and then you do the call to action, and go into Canva or Keynote or whatever you do the graphics on. And I want you to just simply write the words. You could also do this in CapCut or whatever you want to use. So if the pain point is finding how to get these things off the whiteboard, I fully understand. You get all these ideas. Let me show you how to do this. Set your camera up, run a time lapse, and then on that screen, I'm going to say in the time lapse, put the problem A, solution, call to action, and post that as a short. You've just created a piece of content while you were working on the content. It's called meta, not the glasses, but you know what it is. You know what meta means, right? And I learned that from Marielou. So I'm just saying, like you could create your first piece of content today while you're suffering about not doing your content, and all it is you take something you already fully know what to do, and just shoot a time lapse of yourself working, and sort of blur that a little bit, put text on top of it, in that 3-point solution, no matter what it is. Raphael teaches Final Cut, right? He can be like, your Final Cut libraries are getting too big. Here's how you shrink it, and only thing that's being shot is him editing, but the words of the 3-step process to get rid of it, which is really easy, by the way. That's a short content. Done. Now you did some content. Now you started your momentum, and you just keep it going.
That's awesome. That's an awesome hack.
So you guys, in and of yourself, partnering together, have become your own accountability partners, right? Marielou, you know, Doc is showing up. If I'm not there, he's going to be by himself. He'll be fine because he's Doc, right? And that's what he does. But you know, oh man, I can't not show up for Doc, and vice versa. If someone doesn't have that, if they're going in alone, or they want to try to stay consistent, how do you guys use community and accountability partners to stay consistent? And what are some ways that others can utilize those as well? Marielou, we'll start with you.
Something that has been on my heart a lot lately is telling people you are someone's favorite creator. Now, how are you going to act? You are somebody's favorite creator, whether you've made the videos yet or not. Somebody else needs to see your content because you are their favorite. Now you're not going to show up. This person's waiting for your content. That's your accountability partner. That's the person you need to think of ideas for. That's the person you need to create for, because it's very easy for us to let ourselves down. But when there's someone else who needs us, right? Because like that's the Tinkerbell juice, as Doc says, right? Is like when somebody's like, wow, you're my favorite. Wow, you answered my question. Wow, like this, changed my mindset. Like that's like the juice you want to get. There is someone out there who's just waiting to like give you a cup full of Tinkerbell juice. But if you don't make the content, they will never see it and they can never serve you because they don't know where to find you. So that's my like version of the accountability partner for people who don't have the accountability partner. And even for us, that is really who we're making. We're not making this videos for each other. We like to talk to each other, but we have a very clear, strong and mutual respect for the community and who we are making content for. It is a very clear audience, and we feel very strongly about getting these people to get their videos up. And if you don't have that, then you're going to be spinning your wheels because you're still just thinking about yourself. And people will let themselves down all day long.
Well, I saw Connor cringe a little bit when you talked about Tinkerbell juice, because it sounds like you're taking Tinkerbell and going and squeezing the juice out of Tinkerbell.
I don't care
that's not Disney. Yeah,
I get it.
No,
yeah,
Pixie, well, because she uses pixie dust or whatever to get you going. First of all, Tinkerbell, TM, Disney Enterprises, JM Barry. Just to get that out the way.
Yeah.
She uses pixie dust to get it going. I'm saying like use whatever that pixie dust is for you. For us, it's community, right? So I'm going to give you a prime example. And again, because Marielou and I have this thing, we love to keep it practical, right? We want to make sure that you're able to take away something that you could actually do, and you're not just hearing, noise in the space, right? You did a great job of this at camp, Jeff. You did your speech, but you gave people things that they can use right away, besides making me make Lego ducks. So I tell my community this all the time. If you guys have a question, like get over yourself and write that question in the thing. I will make that video. The other day, Christian Infantry says, hey, I need to do some recorded videos to back up my live. I'm not really sure. What do you think is the best practices? I immediately copy that little screenshot of the question and boom. All right, creators, this question comes in today from Christian Infantry. Let's break it down. And I just nailed that answer. And then I post it and then I tag him, them, I'm not sure. I only know Christian Infantry, but I tagged them in the comments and also tagged the other person who I spoke about, which is Brandon Washington, in the comments. And so now I'm helping my community. I'm bigging up their channel for anybody who's curious what Christian Infantry is. I'm bigging up Brandon Washington because my homie, and he's doing something that I think people should see, which goes back to what I was talking about doing the show live. And then you just run with that. So I want to make this practical. Back to Eva. Sorry, Eva, you're getting picked on today because I'm giving you practicalities. I got this whiteboard. Hi, I'm going to be Eva for 1 second. What's my motivation? I'm Eva Art. See. Hi, community. I'm Eva. I have a list of videos that I've been dying to make for you, but I'm not really sure which ones I want to do first. So here is my whiteboard. Let's break these down. We're going to mix, this particular art today. We're going to talk about the backs artists. We're going to talk about where to get these best supplies from. And we're going to talk about how to set up your studio for maximum effectivity. Which of these videos would you like? Vote in the comments below, and I will highlight one of you in the next video. Content done. Walk away. Walk away. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how you get your ideas off the board. Put the onus on them. Let them tell you what to create next. So I created an AI prompt thing because I went super psycho in the prompt. There was a half a bottle of whiskey involved. Sorry. And then I was like, did you guys like this? And they were like, oh, absolutely. Do another one.
Oh, cool.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I did 30 days of content. They said 60. I did 60. They said 90. I did 90. They said 365. I'm going to hurt somebody. But I'm still going. So ask your community.
That's a great, and you can do that with email. Doing it on a video is great. I love how you kind of repurpose stuff. I love when I hear about repurposing. But we have a great question from Christian Infantry. Says, just mention Notion. Is that what you guys use for video prep? A Notion video would be great. So let's talk about gears and tools. Like, what's a piece of equipment or software that has made a real impact in your workflow? And one, let's do that. Like the thing that's made the biggest impact, and then what's one thing you see creators over rely on, like as a crutch to them? Marielou, you can go first.
What I see creators over rely on is the gear and the tools and the fact that they think they need everything. Okay. If you ever meet Doc or I in real person, right? In real life, you can just know there's like at least 5 cameras on us at any point. Like, and maybe that's just me. Like, if you just met me, you're probably on camera. I love the tools. I love the gear. This is my like fun, right? So like, I just got the Meta Ray-Bans, and I was like joking with Will where, it's like some gals want diamonds, and I'm like, I just want smart technology.
Right.
Like, everything I wear needs to do something and have an app attached to it, right? My water bottle has an app attached to it because of Doc. And this is like a lifestyle. Like, this is like what we love. Now, some people will start to see us and they're like, well, I must love all of that too if I'm a content creator, but that is not the truth. If you just have something to say, if you are watching this video right now, you are listening to it, you are watching it, you are interacting with it, you can make a video. You're done. You have everything you need. It's over. You already have it. You do not need more than that. But if you want more than that, there are places you can go. There are things that you can use. I think our number one tool, like, we produce on Ecamm, which is really helpful. So we use Ecamm for Zoom in order to get both of us into the recording. Doc records on his side. I would say it's probably Ecamm and it's Notion, because the Notion we can both control from both sides. As far as software, that really makes a difference for that particular project.
Mm-hmm.
But that is a very particular project. Not everybody needs multiple cameras, 10 lights, microphones, it's just a lot, but some of us are about that life. And some of us are not, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people are dressed to the nines. We'll have the 3-piece suit, the hat, everything. And then some people are going to have
a big beard.
Right. And it's fine. So people can get in their own way because of the gear, but also, there's really good stuff out there depending on what you need to make.
Right.
My outfits cannot live up to Tanya ever. So here's where I want you to start with your tools. Okay, you ready for this? And look, I even got the Texas one today because of Jeff.
Awesome.
But I use pen and paper. Lamy Safari is dope. A Jeff C original is dope-er. And literally pen and paper. And do you need a sexy fountain pen? Nah, I get sexy fountain pen because Jeff's my friend. But you can use pencil and paper. I want you to start analog and stop tripping. When you get to the level of you can get tech and get with it, and that tech isn't going to slow you down, by all means. 9 times out of 10, and like Marielou said, you might want to start with Apple Notes. And I've been telling people full-fledged, Apple Notes is your friend, or Samsung Notes. I don't even know what y'all call it because I don't play over there. But just get down with that. And one of my favorite tools that most people don't think about is using your phone to record voice memos,
Right.
and then you can transcribe those voice memos. Even better now, you can, if you have Pro, you can open up ChatGPT on your phone and have a full conversation with ChatGPT, right? And this is
Mhm.
any questions that you have, the same questions that you would ask me, you basically go down. So what I did, and I wanted to make sure that we're speaking to the proper avatar, I said, Chad, can you help me figure out sort of what my customer avatar would look like? I'm going to, I want you to interview me as if you're interviewing me to find out what my customer avatar is. Chad started asking me questions. I answered the questions. At the end, I said, I'll put that information from this chat into a cohesive doc. Done, 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 done. Like, if you don't know what to start with Chad or whoever. Pick one. Gemini.
Mhm.
They all do the same thing. Like,
Mhm.
just you can legit just use the voice system, and I have videos on my channel about that if you want to go hunt for them. But yeah, it's so easy nowadays. There's no excuse, fam. I'm really, when people give me excuses now, yo, I can't help the face I make. I have the face of a Puerto Rican mom. When you start making excuses in front of me, I start making faces. The other day, you were live, and Connor, you said something, and the face I made, I was like, man, Connor, if I could see you right now, we would be fighting.
That's pretty
And
typical, though.
I
I get
forgot
it.
what you said. It's so funny, and I was just like, I can't help it, because I'm like, it's so easy now, and I know we want to seem like we're being inclusive by giving people these opportunities to make excuses. We're hurting them. We're hurting them. We're just like coddling our kids and don't let them learn how to be adults. At some point in time, you got to tell people, look, the only thing you need to do right now is create another piece of content, and then we'll work from there. So Ken said, I'm doing great with the content. I just don't know how to package it. Cool. Stop packaging it. Just let it out.
Mhm.
Let the content out. When you start saving people and doing the work to make them feel better about themselves, and you're legit helping people out, you will discover how to package it later, because they will tell you, hey, I like this. You're going too fast. Can you slow down? Hey, I like this. Could you add a little graphics here because I didn't understand what you said? Hey, I like this. The music is too loud. They're going to tell you. So stop worrying about packaging it and just let it out. Design the package later. Because all of us hood rats know that the generic Cheerios taste the same as the one with the B on it.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Connor, you
Jeff,
had a
you have a
question?
little promo to roll.
Oh, that's right. By the way, this show, we're talking about tools, is sponsored by our friends over at Ecamm. You can find out more about Ecamm at ecamm.com/Jeff. They're not generic. They taste better than the competition. So go spoon yourself up a big serving of Ecamm, ecamm.com/Jeff. How smooth was that? That was smooth, Connor. Come on, you
That
got to
was
give me credit for
good.
that.
I like the way Connor segued it too.
Oh, he's trying to throw me under the bus, but I've done it enough. I can recover after Connor does that. So, Connor, you have a question?
No, I was I a spoonful of Ecamm. I love
Okay.
it. That's going to be their new tagline.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Mhm.
So we're talking about building and taking action, building this momentum. Sometimes it's the first push that's the hardest part, right? I always talk about this. Seinfeld talks about how your job as a comedian isn't to write the greatest joke every single day. It's just to write a joke every single day, and then you keep
Ooh.
this chain going. And then your job as a comedian is actually to never break the chain, right? Write a joke every single day. You don't break the chain. And I feel like that's what we need to do as creators. Don't make the greatest thing every single day. Just start that chain. But a lot of creators get, bogged down by, well, it's not the right time or the perfect setup. I have to have it. Or, we have gas, right? Gear acquisition syndrome. And it's just preventing us from starting. And I can't see Doc's face right now, but I'm sure he's making one of those faces where he's like, please, are you kidding me? How do you guys coach people out of that mindset, out of the not the right time, not the right place, to just start? Marielou, take it away. How do you coach people to get out of that mindset?
What are you waiting for? Nobody's going to come save you. Nobody's going to come save you. Nobody's going to come tell you to do it. You have to be the adult in the room, right? So I do think a lot of times we have our creator as creatives, right? There's it's like your inner child, essentially, who wants to come out and play. But for whatever reason in your life, you were told, be smaller, be less, don't show your face. Kids are supposed to be quiet. We don't want to see you. These tapes are playing in the background, but you have to be the adult in the room that grabs your little creative by the hand and says, we're going to go outside and play, and give them the space to play. Give them the space to go do that, because nobody else is going to come and do that for you. You need to do that, but you're not going to feel better about it until you start to put stuff out. And I talk a lot about this concept of creative constipation. The more you put off putting the stuff out there, the more you're going to get backed up and the more crazier and awful you're going to feel. So just start putting some things out. How to start doing it, create, release, repeat, right? You have to do it. You have to put it out. You have to do it again. And then eventually you're going to be like, oh, it's not that bad. It's the reps. It's the reps. You got to go to the gym. You got to eat your food. You got to make your video. Don't break the chain. All of that is, we say the same thing, but in so many different ways. But I will continue to yell it at you. And also, if you're feeling stuck, come watch us on Tuesdays on Doc Channel, live, Creators Unstuck. We will yell it into you. You were stuck that day, you're going to make a video that day. I'll tell you that.
Right. And here's the thing I think about when you guys talk about this. You don't have to be original every day. Like, my goal is to put a piece of content out every day. But it may be from this show that I recorded last week. It's a clip, or it's an email, or it's something. So, one, I like the variation because it makes me feel creative, gives me ideas, and you're not, always slogging the same thing. But I would try to create something. If you're just starting, maybe once a week, then increase it to 3 times a week, then maybe do it once a day. But it makes a difference because you're putting those reps, as like Marielou was saying. Doc, what about you?
Then also,
oh, go ahead.
One more thing to add is that I don't want everybody to be afraid to repeat themselves. True. It's like they do feel like they need to do something new every single time. You could make the same video 10 times and see how that goes. You're probably going to be fine, but they're just getting so bogged down on these details. But the thing is, on the internet, like, you're going to make one video, 5 people are going to see it, and people will be like, that was a terrible idea. I was like, or only 5 people saw it, and you don't know if it's good or not because only 5 people saw it. So make it again, make it a different way. Let's try telling this story in a different way. This is where the creative part comes in. You can do
it. That is we're at time, and that's a perfect way to kind of wrap up the show, because I want to give you guys each a big chunk of time to talk about what you got going on, your Creators Unstuck channel. But Doc has some cool products too. Like, Doc, I'm going to start with you, and then we'll go over to Marielou. But talk about what Doc has put together for all the creators out there.
I have these really cool acoustic memory foam mic covers that I use. I wanted something that would not just look good, but it needed to be more practical. Most of the stuff that was out there was mostly just colored foam. I'm an audio nerd. And yeah, so I wanted to make something that people could actually use and be cool. And then Marielou has them like
she's
Thanos.
kind of like
she got the Thanos move over there.
Pokemon, got to catch them all.
Yeah, so just go and check out Doc Pops. And right now I have them for most of your Shure microphones. So SM7B, MV7, MV7 Plus, MV7i, MV6, pod mics. They also fit. And a lot of the pod mic ones will fit bigger mics like the RE20, the Heel PR40, Heil, so forth, so on, etc. So yeah, go and check out your Doc Pops. Awesome. And like Paul said, they're more than a mic cover.
Yeah, their style. It's what would you? How long did it take you to develop those, Doc? By the way, I mean, I know you worked on them for a while.
Over a year. It seems like it would be easy, but it's not. But that being said, I have a full team. So anybody that has a creator idea of something, a physical product you want to make, I don't care whether it's, training underwear or whatever, I can help you make it. Because my partner over there, he and I did radio together for almost 20 years. And he lives there. He said he went to China to learn how to get into manufacturing, and he manufactured 2 kids. So he's still there. And he's an awesome guy. We're helping Kathy Hester make something right now. So if you have something that you want to make, let me know. I can help you.
Very cool.
I got people.
Marielou, what about you? What you got going on, and what do you want to tell people about?
My big fun favorite project right now is Video Creator Club. You can go to videocreator.club. It is my membership. It's an app. It's a community. We have been doing accountability groups. I do video creator class live every Monday. That is live on my YouTube channel and in Video Creator Club, but replay is for either the YouTube members or Video Creator Club members. I also do like Zoom calls with the members. Like we're like getting into the nitty gritty. And this is where we can get specific into what people are needing right now. So in Video Creator Club, it is for video creators, but it's not about being a video marketer, right? We can talk about monetization, but it is not about here's how you get rich on the internet. I want to make sure you know how to make a video, you know how to make a good video, and you are making videos. You are actually making videos. Like people in my community, like Lauren's in the chat here, like her video didn't go up, and I was like, ma'am, where's my video? Because I will come after my video.
And Lauren does say, for frugal and first thing for you guys listening on the podcast, she goes, love being a part of Marielou's Creator Club. It's helped me so much with accountability. So go over to Marielou's club and join that. So we got, and we also have the amazing, unsinkable Connor Brown. Connor Brown, where can we find out more about Connor Brown?
You can find out more about Connor Brown at vacationkingdoms.com. If you're somewhere cold and you want to go somewhere warm, reach out to me. I can help you book a trip. Great show today. I'm glad that Doc didn't yell at me too much. That's what
he will. You should see the comments, the host comments. Oh my gosh, folks. Anyway, this has been amazing. Thank you to our friends over at Ecamm for helping sponsor the show. You can find out more about them at ecamm.com/Jeff. Thank you guys so much for being here. Gary, Frugal in Flourishing. Let's see, Mr. Camera Junkie stopped by. All these people who came by, we couldn't do the show without you. We appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you to Doc and Marielou for the great content they gave us. And we'll see you guys next